All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Jalen. I'm a senior here at Hood, and today we are going to be covering virtue ethics, and I will be going over the ethic virtues of justice and fairness. To start, what are virtue ethics? They define good actions as one that shows and embodies virtuous traits. Before I roll into justice, I just want to go over some basic good qualities of justice that we might see in everyday life or that you might want to instill in yourself and see in others. So, to start, good qualities of justice would be patience, courage, alertness, steady demeanor, respect of others, and the ability to think creatively. And this would just really help you in your everyday life with a positive mindset, honestly. So, justice and virtue ethics. Justice is one of the four cardinal virtues in classical European philosophy and Roman Catholicism. It is the moderation or meaning between selfishness or selflessness, between having more and having less than one's fair share. Justice is the proper ordering of people and things, and it is the moral principle of rightness. So it might be easy for us to shake our head, have a bad demeanor, and say no and not do anything. However, if you spread the word about what you believe in, or you're really just what you believe in, listen more, volunteer, embrace diversity, and support local organizations. This is just a small example of the way we can promote social justice in our everyday life. So, an example of justice would be, let's say someone goes to jail and they're doing time and they really shouldn't be there because they didn't commit the crime. However, technology cannot really support that, and evidence back then point to they did the crime, they served the time. So let's say fast forward 5 years, 10 years, new technology comes out and they're able to retest some DNA or data they had, placing that person or showing they committed a crime, and the new information comes out and says they did not commit this crime. Then justice would be releasing them from jail, since there is physical data or DNA that is not putting them in the spot, time, or area of the crime. And that is just one small example of justice. Next, we're going to roll into some good qualities of fairness. So this is pretty simple. I think we've all heard this since kindergarten. We want to treat everyone equally and make choices without playing favorites and don't take advantage of others. So those are just some very broad but very important qualities of fairness. And fairness is actually a strength within the virtue category of justice, which is pretty unique to me. Now, fairness and virtue ethics. Fairness is a virtue that we demand more and more in our society. We all desire to live in a fair world and a fair workplace. You don't want to be mistreated or judged just because we're not the same. We don't look the same, think, talk, or act the same. I mean, we all bleed red at the end of the day. So I think we all have a fair shot of anything we want in this world. And we definitely want our children to be treated rightly without favoritism to others. I mean, yeah, you don't want to be looked down on or talked down bad because you don't look the same or believe the same or just have different opinions. That's not fair, and nobody should have to deal with that. We can find value in fairness because it is about the decision process of decision making and not the outcome. So it's kind of how you check your boxes to make your decision on something and how you make it fair. Um, so you make decisions without playing favorites and definitely don't take advantage of others because that is not fair. So I'm going to give an example. Everybody, we've been through it's group projects. Sometimes they're not always the most fair. Sometimes it's hard to work with certain people because they're not willing to put in the time that you want, and they maybe could care less. Maybe they're okay with that C average, and you and some of your other group mates are like, hey, I want this A. However, sometimes group projects don't always go that way because it's based on the group's work, not individual. However, that's not always fair because some people could put in all the legwork and put in an A group effort. However, if there's that one person that is pulling you guys down, your whole project could drop a late grade letter or two. And that's just not fair. But, it's life and not everything is fair. but you have to work through it and keep going because that doesn't define who we are as people. So next, I'm going to go through Aristotle's virtue of justice. Aristotle endures the familiar conception of justice when he says that justice is lawfulness. In his view, justice has to do with proper relations with and fulfillment of obligations to others. It is a social virtue that belongs to people insofar as they live with, cooperate with, and rely on others. I think that that's pretty reasonable to me, and that before reading about his views on justice as virtue, I would have the same conclusion. Next, we're going to do Aristotle's fairness virtue. Fairness involving equitable distributions and the correction of what is inequitable. I mean, this one was a little confusing to me at first, but after I kind of sat down, nitpicked through it, took a double take, reread, looked up some other things. I mean, it really made sense, and I realized that it aligned with the way I put fairness in and how everybody should be treated. And with that, today, our video on uh, virtue ethics of justice and fairness is complete. Thank you guys for watching.